And it always comes down to container unloading, the biggest problem, the biggest headache. And what we usually witness when we first walk into these facilities is predominantly a large amount of staff and operators trying to unload containers. The output increasingly slows down, fatigue gets more, bottlenecks, and we always ask the same thing over and over again. There must be a better way. Okay, good afternoon everyone. My name's Peter Wood. I'm the Global Business Manager for TAWI. For those who are not aware of who we are, TAWI is a Swedish company. We're based in Gothenburg, and we are part of the PIAB group, and we are the lifting automation division. We're a global organisation. We have 16 sales offices, ranging from Australia across over to Brazil, USA and Canada. We're a provider of manual handling solutions, and they're better known in the industry as vacuum tube lifters. Over the next 20 minutes, I want to present a little overview of our products, mainly aimed at the logistics sector. One in particular is the Tarvi container unloader with a loading function. Over the years, we've gone in to see so many different logistic companies, different countries, different sizes. And it always comes down to container unloading, the biggest problem, the biggest headache. And what we usually witness when we first walk into these facilities is predominantly a large amount of staff and operators trying to unload containers, lifting thousands and thousands of boxes over a shift, over a day, over a week. The output increasingly slows down, fatigue gets more, bottlenecks, your best operators become frustrated, the workforce becomes demotivated, and we always ask the same thing over and over again. There must be a better way. So as I mentioned earlier, the reality, manual handling is just still the norm. There's many different pain points. It's not just the obvious one, health and safety. The season peaks, the certain flows, staff retention, and what we hear when we listen to the logistic companies, whatever they tell us is usually, we've done it this way all the time, we're managing, we understand that there's a problem, but what else can we do? Futuristic isn't always the smarter option. Most think about jumping straight away, automation. It's not always the smartest move. Again, in reality, it brings high investment, a long return on investment. There's a huge risk of outdated technology, and it's usually a bigger jump from manual straight into automation. Smart lifting. Many companies skip the most simple step. We want to work with smart lifting throughout the whole process. It goes beyond equipment, and it's about improving your operation. Where do we come in? The reality, the relationship starts when we first walk into the facility. We want to know what's your needs, what's your requirements. And that always starts by understanding that operation process. What sort of pressures is the whole operation under? We like to learn more about your customers, previous and your future customers. What's their expectations of you as a supplier? Whether it's third-party logistics, e-commerce. We have to understand your current requirements. As we mentioned earlier, the pain points that we see, it's not just health and safety. It could be product damage. It could be the aging workforce. It could be the constant flow, the high demand. But once we get to understand those needs, that's when we can start talking about a solution. What we usually find out after these type of visits, from manual strains to operational advantage, what our customers really want and what they always request: reduce our hidden costs. Can you increase our productivity? Can you protect our people? Create flexibility within the workforce, a really important one. And then future-proofing the operation. With that being said, and before I show a short video, a customer reference, we worked with the market for about 4 or 5 years, focusing on those challenges that they've all discussed. Went through demonstrations, pilots, understood what those main concerns were, and we came up with a product called the container unloader. What's it designed for? Containers, trucks, unloading, loading. But we had to think a little bit outside the box, away from the typical solutions that you see today. The belt capacity that we work with has a capacity of 80 kilos. We can use our vacuum lifter, capacity of 50 kilos. It's battery driven, plug and play, modular, and we can drive around the facilities. But it also allows the operators to reach the awkward parts of those containers. We have a shortened down version of a customer reference video. Again, we went in to see them, same sort of pain points, same sort of concerns, a high turnaround of staff, not many people wanting to do these type of jobs. And they start to explain the reason of the purchase behind the container unloader. In brief, our vacuum technology was designed to lift 100% of that product's weight. So, as an operator, all you've got to worry about and be concerned about, direct the product. And with the vacuum technology that's created by an electric-driven pump, you control the up and down motion of the vacuum, as you can see here. And then you direct and release to wherever the product needs to be dropped. Now in the background, which is what you can see here, is our container unloader. Just before I come on to some of the features, you can see that it's not just about looking at the flow inside of the container. We want to work with you and understand what the problems are outside. You can see a fully mobile, compact unit. You can stand on the platform, drive it around the facility. You can take it to different sites, fully mobile. we can switch easily between belt and pallet configurations. As I've touched on earlier as well, the vacuum lifter, you can add or remove up to 50 kilos for the heavier boxes. And we do an adjustable conveyor for loading and unloading. So we can raise the conveyor along with the platform to get the top boxes, and then the opposite for the lower. And then the last one, number 5, what you can see is the platform. The big change for us is when we installed this and it went through the markets, was the ease of getting in and around a container. Usually 2, 3, 4 people inside, very crowded. We can eliminate that. So the numbers. Obviously a lot of people now, it's not just about health and safety. It's about a return on investment. They want to know speed. They want to know a return on investment. They want to know how many packages per hour we can do. So these numbers were taken from our customers from last year. And obviously the big number, the reduction in injury cases. To recap, but this also goes for all of our product range as well. Of course, we're driven by health and safety and ergonomics. We've done it for over 100 years. We want to reduce that physical strain that manual handling brings. We want to make it user-friendly. And ultimately, what's probably most important is the workforce flexibility. Old, young, male, female, whether you're strong, whether you're not so strong, it allows you to continue and use the units. In terms of product and productivity and the efficiency, we always drive that we can be up to 40% faster using our vacuum tube lifters. I think the fact that it picks up the 100% of the weight and the concentration is more on moving the product round really helps and benefits. Obviously the big one at the moment and a huge topic is the return on investment. And I mentioned earlier, we really want to understand your process, and that's coming in to speak with you, understanding the financial impact that this has at the moment with manual handling. We want to understand sick leave. We want to understand your agency workers or your temporary staff. And the fact that it's mobile moves away from a lot of that static equipment. The last one on the right from a sustainability point of view is another huge focus. I mentioned earlier, based in Sweden, headquarters, and it's always got a drive across the 3 divisions that we work with today. Now, just the last slide for you now is a little bit of a reassurance from a partnership. We certainly pride ourselves in being a strong partner. Our lifters are purely designed to make the operator's life a lot more easy, certainly more efficient. The systems are certainly integrated very easily into your workforce. We have 2 types of lifters, and now we can provide them mobily. We can provide them as a structure. They require little maintenance, but we also work as a partnership with your service teams, your RMEs. We can train the trainer. We want to onboard these equipment safe and secure because we want to keep providing them and repeat business. There's a QR code there, so if anyone wants to scan the QR code, take a picture, it takes you to our website. More reference sites that you can see, more reference videos. I know we're at a logistics show, but we food, pharma, we do other industries as well, baggage handling in the airport sector. But I hope it's been a really good week, a really good show. Thank you for your time and the efforts to come and see, and If there's any questions or any information you need, I'll hang around, and our booth is just the other side. So if anybody wants to have a play with the equipment, have a go, I always would recommend that. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you.